Namaste, Aquarius. This is going to be your Valentine's reading. And don't think of it as like just Valentine's Day, like it's a one day only reading. That's not what it is. I normally don't even put this much emphasis on Valentine's to do a special reading, but I'm doing it this year because Valentine's does fall on a Friday and it does fall right before Mercury retrograde. I thought it might be interesting to take a look at the energies going in and perhaps coming out and just seeing what we can all expect. And I'm doing it from a perspective of couples, singles, it's complicateds, and everyone, like shared energy among everyone. And so let's see what we get. I got a couple decks for advice too. Just go over a couple of the cards. We're beginning with the Eight of Earth. Skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and maybe even going back to school. Okay, so the Eight of Earth for me is a reap what you sow card. What energy and work you put into something is going to reflect what you're getting out. So if there is no effort, there is no work that's going into something, then nothing's going to come out. Now, I don't want you to panic about lack of what you perceive to be lack of effort or work necessarily over this period, because like I said, Mercury is going retrograde 2 days after Valentine's Day. And so that may affect people and their ability to put effort into certain things, especially Geminis, Virgos, and Pisceans, because Mercury rules both the signs of Gemini and Virgo. And so because it's our ruler that's going retrograde, we will be more impacted than anybody else. But Mercury rules communication, travel, electronics, like everything that we use on a day-to-day basis. So everybody is always, affected in one way or another by Mercury retrograde, some, more intensely intently than others. But we all are affected, like in our day-to-day lives. I've already started. Today, my laptop started bugging out. And I looked, and exactly a year to the day, 2/11, this time last year, I was talking to somebody at the manufacturer about whether or not they were going to bill me. They ended up not billing me. So that was a positive thing that came out of it, even despite Mercury retrograde. They fixed my computer for free. But they had my computer for like 2 months. Maybe it was 3 months. I think I sent it like late January and I didn't get it back till like April. Some of you might remember that I was going on and on forever, it seemed like, about this laptop, and then I finally got it back. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff that Mercury does, right? It affects our day-to-day life. And so that may affect somebody's inability, maybe perhaps your own, to be as in contact as you normally would. Contact, especially if it's like in writing or something, like, oh, I never got your email, I never got your text, or you left me a voicemail, my notification didn't go up. Like all of this stuff can really, really happen. Sometimes people send me messages. Hasn't happened yet this year. Hopefully it won't. But people have sent me messages through Messenger, for example, and Facebook. And you know how it's supposed to pop up with that little red thing? And during Mercury retrograde, nope, no red thing. I have no idea that they contacted me, or I'm emailing somebody. It's in draft. I think I sent it, or same thing with the text. I don't realize until I go back to try to text them again, and it's sitting there. So it's all that kind of stuff. And we don't want to be paranoid about it. And we don't want to automatically take everything personal and think that everything's about us when somebody else is unable to, contact us or to give us the energy we feel they should be giving us. It's not always about you. It's not always that somebody's ignoring you or, trying to do something to you. Sometimes people are going through their own things. And, frankly, they may not have even thought about you because depending upon how heavy with what they're dealing is, So while, yes, this card is representative for me of putting in effort, that may be hard. Now, from a perspective of love, true to the tarot, the Eight of Earth says that either you or your partner, for those of you who are a couple, spending too much time like with work or with your mind on work. Maybe you're bringing work home and not, really much lovey-dovey. Like even in bed, you got your computer and your phone and you always answer it. And, even if you're being intimate, all of a sudden the phone goes off and you're answering, for some jobs, like maybe you're a doctor or something, that may be like unavoidable. But I think even with doctors, like every now and then you get some time to yourself, and you should definitely take it because a relationship could suffer if you don't. For those of you who, nope, I almost went into, well, yeah, it's this card. For those of you who are single, Same thing, like you could be too focused on money, career, work, to even fit a relationship in your life. And maybe you haven't realized that, like you have to make some adjustments before you have one. And the reason I hesitated and I almost didn't read it, because when I get to these cards, not only in the interest of time, but just, I think a way of doing it, I want to, dedicate one card to couples, one to singles, one to it's complicated, and one to everyone. So when I had talked about the couples and I almost went into singles, I was trying to catch myself like, oh, no, don't talk about singles. But these are also for everyone. So it's okay, to clear up why I was, acting weird. Okay, so, yeah, we got the singles and we got the couples covered with this card. The it's complicated. I mean, I guess both could apply to you, both or either, right? Now, Unity, or the Hierophant, Major Arcana card 5, is also showing up here right behind the Eight of Earth upright. It represents the sign of Taurus most directly, but is Earth energy, Capricorn, Virgo also, like perhaps this is. And it's about contracts. It's about commitments, including marriage. But again, in terms of retrograde, you may not want to enter anything so serious. That doesn't mean like hold back your feelings and be disingenuous or inorganic. No, go with the flow, certainly. Surrender to, whatever you're feeling and whatever's happening. But if there's stop and go energy, don't take it personal and get paranoid. And actually the 10 of Cups says that. 10 of Cups is a card that as it relates to love says like, if you're worried about your relationship or your partner or, like their feelings and what's going on, your worry is probably unnecessary and everything is fine, So think of it in terms of like depth, especially considering Pisces. Pisces is all about depth, as is its ruler, Uranus. And so, that's where our higher love is, our deepest love. Our unconditional love is in those inner realms, that real watery part of us that's like that Piscean energy. So, think in terms of that. Like even if something is at the surface, maybe it seems like there is some sort of challenge or difficulty, conflict even, like that's the superficiality of it. And at the depth, everything is fine. And, but this can also be representative of like fighting for your relationships. The 7 of Wands is about defending your decisions, your beliefs, and yourself, like, what it is you're doing and want to do. So this could definitely be some of us fighting for our relationships to keep them going, putting in that effort that I talked about here. And some of us may get a fresh opportunity to do just that. Like maybe we've been blocked out before, or again, maybe we're single and we haven't, but now we're making a decision to get out there and do something new. Page of fire rather. Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, maybe specifically someone likened to those traits or attributes, or like Jupiter coming through to help you, or Mars, right? That fiery energy. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. Because like we talked about, those challenges coming to an end, right? The difficulties coming to an end, and you may have to deal with some stuff, but at the depth, right? This is the superficial stuff. At the depths, everything is fine. Universe stepping in to fully restore you and recover you and make you feel whole. And you can negotiate and work out differences that you've had with people. I think I could probably go on just here. Also with the 3 of Earth, you might be meeting somebody at work, or perhaps friends or co-workers are introducing you to someone, setting you up. That may be what the opportunity is about. Maybe an opportunity to meet, at a group event or a work event or something with friends, an opportunity to be set up, blind date or something. You should take it. 3 of Pentacles for me, all about abundance that is earned also, not just parties of 3. From my Universal Love Oracle, we're beginning with an energy called of transmutation. And this is about taking negative emotions, like the inability to forgive, regret, resentment, pride, ego, fear, all of these things, and turning them into love instead. So again, like rather than taking something personal and thinking it's about us and letting our pride like piss us off, like they haven't called me, and meanwhile, like the person's really dealing with something, and you're here taking taking those sort of feelings and transmuting them to love instead, so that you can have a different response. Because we're in charge of our, we're responsible for our actions and our reactions to things. So you can react with love, or you can react with a negative emotion. It's better to transmute those negative emotions to love, because that helps you to ascend. That helps you, that benefits you. It increases your vibration. So also, when we're working on ourselves, maybe because somebody gave us a break because they're working on them, and so what are we going to do? We work on ourselves too. The inner child may be with whom we're dealing, and inner child may have something that they want to say, something they want to communicate. Also, air signs, again, maybe involved. This is very Mercury, right? Again, ruler of Gemini and Virgo, air, and earth and water, Pisces. This card is. But also here's like some Uranus energy too, in the sign of Aquarius with these stars. The star in the tarot represents the sign of Aquarius, and we have them very strategically placed on the crown chakra, third eye chakra, throat chakra. So it's like this child has something to say, and maybe they've wanted to say it all the time, for a long time, and never got up the strength and the courage. And now you do, like that your wish is coming true, where you can communicate things you have wanted to, and maybe move beyond some stuff that occurred or that is associated with your childhood and or your past. And this card also reminds us that we're strong enough to do these things, because we're not alone. We're all part of, the one. It's a universal heart that connects us all, right? It's like one beat. We're all chained to it. And this is another card that talks about superficiality versus depth, right? The flame is eternal. It's not going to go out just because there's something, at the surface that's a little bit, again, conflicting or whatever. This still continues. At the depth, the flame is eternal. Again, maybe connected to fire signs, too, most specifically. And even when we're in solitude and being a recluse or a hermit, we're not alone, right? There's still support there, too. Again, with this fire energy. Even this one, it's upside down, but there's more fire here, too. Physical body, and this person too, nurturing themselves. So spending some time alone in solitude and recluse. I don't want to say that's a precursor to your Valentine's Day that's going to be spent alone. But, for some of us, I'm sure it is. Because there's more and more naked female body. But this is more importantly for me, naked female body is all about surrender. Surrender. And again, going with the flow and being organic. And this card, soulmate, maybe that's the purpose. Like you're surrendering, you're letting go, because you are opening up so that you can be, part of a coupling. An attachment on a spiritual level and a level, of depth. Again, not superficiality. So that's what we're starting with. And we're going to get into it. Couples. Singles. All right, let me move this up. Couples, singles, it's complicated, and everyone. From the perspective of love, we're doing. Couples, 9 of Wands in reverse. This is actually not a bad card in terms of putting in work, like we talked about, and like communicating with each other. Because what the 9 of Wands actually says, if you're coupled, is that like something may have happened that you feel you are 100% right in this scenario, and your partner is 100% wrong. Obviously, if you're 100% right, and that may be true. That may be the case. But the thing is, if you come at them with anger, trying to force this thing down their throats, they're not going to receive it, right? They're not going to receive it. And so the idea is maybe you come like that innocent child that had something to say, right? Maybe you come from a very lighthearted and, again, almost childlike place, a very loving and soft place to present this one, like a gentle approach to try to get them to see your perspective rather than through, toxicity and anger and, manipulation and coercion. That's not going to work. And that's just going to cause a rift, right? So that's your message, couples. Singles. Your card is the Four of Swords, also in reverse. And if you're single with this card coming up and you've been like looking for people and just figuring like when am I going to find somebody? Like, why do I keep coming up empty handed? I know I'm cute. You know what I mean? Like, I have stuff to offer. I have a good job. I, make a decent living. I have good credit. I am kind. I'm loving. I'm generous. I'm handsome. I'm pretty. I'm thick. I'm skinny. Whatever it is that you think you have to offer to the world. Combinations of those. Like, so why am I not having the results that I'm wanting to have when I look for people? And what it's saying is, this card is that it's time for you to like switch it up. Change your angle. Change your tactics in terms of love. If you've been looking in groups or allowing friends to set you up, for example, remember that three of Pentacles, then maybe you should try going it alone. I read something on Facebook today about going to the movies by yourself and about how that was like one of the best things that you could possibly do. Maybe you can meet somebody, like you go it alone, or maybe you normally don't date at work. And that's why the Three of Pentacles is showing up for you. It's saying give somebody at your office a chance, or at a work party that you meet through work. Maybe they're not your coworker, but they're, some sort of affiliate or something like that. And normally that wouldn't be something that you would do, but perhaps it's something you can consider. If you normally do meet people because you're out single, then maybe you want to try it in a group instead. Like, whatever. It's about switching it up for you. Again, where you put that effort from where you're going to get the outcome. It's complicated. Nice. Okay. So, now it's complicated might consider themselves single, and some may consider themselves as part of a relationship. I used to, I haven't changed, but I was going to say, I used to say more often that like people who consider themselves, twin flames, especially those who are aware of who their divine partner is. So twin flames, divine partners, sacred unions, whatever, even in separation, like, you're still sort of committed, maybe not at the surface, but at the depths, maybe not in the superficial sense and in the 3D sense, but at the depth. If your souls are connected, your souls are connected, so yeah, that can be what it's complicated means. So the reverse Nine of Cups is still Knight of Cups is still a positive card. A little bit different from when the Knight of Cups is upright, but it can definitely mean that if you are single, if you are considering yourself completely open to meeting somebody new, regardless of the fact that you had something else or have something else, potentially going, you could very well meet somebody, and not only meet somebody, but somebody who will completely sweep you off your feet. And then you may even need like some time to like catch your breath and adjust to the changes in the way that you're being treated. Like, all of a sudden this person's treating me like a princess or a queen or a king or whatever's appropriate, and I'm not used to that. So I need a break. And maybe that's how Mercury retrograde will affect you. So that's what I meant about like people falling back and the stop and go. Don't let that hurt your feelings, the stop and go. Don't let it make you paranoid. Remember, the overall energy, Aquarius, is the 10 of Cups. Also, in general, for me, Knight of Cups can definitely mean somebody returning to your life, coming back. So it could be that person to whom you're connected, the one that's making you say it's complicated. They could be showing up for Valentine's Day. If you consider yourself in a relationship, albeit complicated, the Knight can also mean that like both people, one or both, One or both, like, or either. Potentially feeling sort of like overwhelmed, and maybe that's the Piscean energy that's going to be coming at us too, or that already is coming at us. Mercury's already in Pisces, and it's already in shadow. It's just not full on retrograde yet, so that could be affecting people. And you just feel like one or both, just feeling overwhelmed basically by the requirements. Now, requirements sounds like a business deal, like the demands. That sounds kind of like a business deal too, but like the demands of the relationship. And maybe they're just having difficulty like trying to juggle it all. Maybe their own life, their work life. Like maybe you don't want to focus on work, but you have to some respect, to some extent. And so the relationship suffering, but I want to give all my attention to my relationship, but I don't have the energy or the time or the money or the whatever. And I'm just feeling like, oh my God, I'm just feeling like overwhelmed. I need a break. Now I need a break. And with it crossing the Four of Swords, I wasn't planning on doing this, but with it crossing the Four of Swords can definitely mean break time. Like I need a rest, which makes sense again with Mercury retrograde being upon us. And to consider the Nine of Wands in reverse too in relation to this. Again, it's not a good time to push. Like the Wands are representative of fire and passion and stuff. It's not necessarily a good time for that sort of hot pursuit and, just coming at somebody really, really in a strong way. They're already overwhelmed. So allow yourself and or them that time. And again, for things to unfold in an organic way, that's going to be your best bet. Especially if somebody is returning to your life, you don't want to overwhelm them. If some, let me add something to that. Especially if somebody is returning to your life and you're happy that they are, and you want to welcome them back in. You don't want to overwhelm them and chase them away again and scare them away again. So again, allow them to ease in. And perhaps the person is specifically a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. If not, someone likened to those traits or attributes, of course. And lastly, for everyone, the Fool. And the Fool in reverse, definitely when it comes to love, it ties all this together, especially those of us that are sort of disconnected because of work and or money or career and things like that. Because the Fool says, the Fool in reverse, about love says that our need, this is so Aquarian too, our need for freedom and independence, right, as individuals could be getting in the way of the relationship. And yeah, I'm not like talking at you guys or like about you. When I say this is super Aquarius, I know firsthand because I'm an Aquarius moon, like it's, I've got it too. Super Aquarius. And Aquarius is the sign of freedom and humanitarianism. So of course, Aquarians are seeking freedom. They're seeking independence. And they are often this like sort of lone wolf type of person, the sole person with, these unique ideas that are not shared by others and stuff. So they not only do they have a desire to be independent and free, they have a need in order to function and thrive. They have a need to be, to have some freedom and independence. But we could be ODing and it could be interfering with our relationships or our ability to find and maintain, relationships that we want. We may be giving people the impression that we're not interested too, that we're just like, we don't want to be in a committed, we don't need one. We don't want to be in we don't want to have a committed relationship, and we don't need to be in a committed relationship. We're just not that interested. So if we want love, the idea is to not be a fool or to not be foolish and, give a false impression of ourselves, to definitely open up. When I was talking about being vulnerable here, well, all those cards, I was talking about being vulnerable with the female nudity. That's all about vulnerability and, again, surrender for me. But definitely, like I was saying, even almost childlike, just fully opening up. And like this person that's looking for a soulmate that's emerging from a lotus flower. right? That was opening up too. It's flowers opening up and, exposing the beauty within and this soul being within that wants soulmate love. And that's what we're going to have to do too if we too want some. Now I'll just give, I messed up this deck, but I want to do an advice card for each of these categories, so to speak, too. And so for you coupled Aquarians, blessings coming to you with the Valentine's energy. So something nice that's going to make you happy. Maybe that time that you need to yourselves, or, opportunity for a break together to get away, vacation, long weekend. Like I was saying, it's going to be President's Weekend for some people, President's Week rather, for some people, depending upon what it is you do and your ability to take time off and stuff. So maybe some of you having not only a long weekend, but an actual week or something where you can get together and take a trip or just spend time. Maybe a staycation at your house or something like that. Singles, heaven on earth. So singles, there is something, and it's often negative emotions, but it can be an actual person, right, place or thing onto which we've been holding, that is taking up the space that we need vacated so that love and stuff can come in, what we want. If we want to experience heaven on earth, we have to stop holding on so tightly to hell, because that's taking up the space. We got to let that go. And again, this can be negative, emotions. Those things I talked about before, the regret, the resentment, the guilt, the fear, the ego, the pride. That can be what's taking up the space, or an actual relationship may be in the way, a relationship that we know we don't want anymore, or like a ghost of a relationship, because this is for the singles. But, sometimes you're single, but you're not single. You know what I mean? And there can be, even if you're not with somebody, there can be like this, well, there is this one ex that we're still sort of, cut that cord, cut that cord. We're still sort of tied. Yeah, cut it. If you're wanting new love to come in, and that's not, and it's not coming in. Maybe that's the thing that's not working for you that you need to switch up for. Maybe that's why the Four of Swords is showing up for you. If you, want a relationship and you've been coming up short so far, do something different. Maybe the thing you need to do different is to completely release, the energy of the ghost of relationships past. And then you'll be able to have, the heaven that you seek here, because it'll come in. Very nice. It's complicated. Our card is answer prayer. And look at this. Not only is it answer prayer, and there's this angel here, right? So wishes are being granted, dreams are coming true. We're manifesting our desires, those things that we want. But this is the Aquarius reading, and all these, remember the little girl with the stars? Right, so that was already Aquarius energy. Look here, right on this angel's chest, like over her throat chakra, is another star. So it's more this Aquarius energy, and right here in her belly, a butterfly. That's like the Scorpio. So it's very air and water. For some of us, this is like totally literal, that there is an, air and water relationship in separation that is going to be returning for you. You just got to decide if you want it, or if it's not something returning, it is this being swept off your feet. But for some of us, the person that returns may sweep us off our feet, and that can be very unexpected. Like, I'm not used to you behaving like this, and it's just like, they're going to show you how much they've missed you. Depends for what you've been praying, right? And lastly, for us all, it is more air and water, and it is the Mystic, which is like a High Priestess kind of card, but also it's like High Priestess / the Star for me, so it's very like healing and restorative kind of energy, empowering kind of energy, but also guides us very much to pay attention to our intuition and to surrender to those energies and to allow and to go with the flow and be organic And it looks like a lot of us are going to be happy for Valentine's Day weekend / week, or however you celebrate it. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will be back with your other signs. Check out your sun, moon, and rising. And if you like the video, please actually like it by giving it a thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber, please consider becoming one by hitting both the subscribe button and the bell button. If you like your own private reading or merchandise or energy healing, or just to chat and be my friend, then hit me up. All of my social media information, along with the information on how to, get that other stuff that I mentioned, will all be in the description box below. Thanks. Namaste.